Hi, I'm Pattu from freefincal. Today let's talk about NPS Tier II. I have received this question several times in the past few months. Can I use NPS Tier II as a low cost index fund? Let's talk about this today. First of all, NPS is a low cost mutual fund. There's no question about that. But the NPS mutual funds are not index funds, they are actively managed funds. And if you want proof of that, all you need to do is to go to any PFM site. PFM is pension fund manager for the NPS PFM site. Then if there will be a tab called public disclosures, you can look for policies or investment policies, and then it will talk about the objective, and it clearly says that the objective is to maximize the yield for investors, and that's not how a passive investment will work. Also, it's good that NPS mutual funds are not passive funds or not index funds, because then a huge amount of AUM, particularly for example the central government kind of schemes, a huge amount of AUM will be concentrated on just a few stocks or a few bonds. If you look at the portfolio, especially for large AUM, PFM schemes, you will see that several stocks will be under a few percent, 2%, 3%, 1%, 0.8%. That kind of weight will be there. They'll have a lot of stocks and a lot of bonds in the portfolio, and that's kind of good. But that's in terms of concentration, that's kind of good. But in terms of returns, I don't think that kind of portfolio will be able to consistently beat the index. I have shown this in September 2019 itself. Sorry, I compared it with Nifty 100, and I said they're not able to beat the Nifty 100 and so on. When I said that, I got a few comments saying, "Oh, you should look at HDFC pension management. They are doing very well," and so on. These are the weekly returns released by the NPS Trust. Yes, if you look at the 5-year returns or 7-year returns, or 3-year returns, the HDFC fund has done well. But if you look at 1-year return, the HDFC fund has underperformed by 3%, underperformed the benchmark by 3%. So for the next 3 years or 5 years, HDFC may not be able to perform well. So that's typical of an active fund. Also, if you actually look at the range of returns, there's quite a bit of range from 11% to 12%, 13%. So quite a range of returns are possible among the pension fund managers. And that's again typical of an active fund. Therefore, instead of choosing a low cost active fund that is trying to beat the index and struggling to beat the index, even if the TER of a fund like UTI, Nifty or HDFC Sensex is like 1.7 times more than the TER of these funds, at least the mandate there is very clear. Here the mandate itself is unclear. They'll say all sort of things, just like any scheme document of mutual funds and so on, and they are low cost. I don't think in my opinion, there's not enough incentive given for these guys to beat the index, that is the pension fund, the fund managers themselves. And also, please be clear that the taxation of the Tier 2 scheme is not known. There is no official documentation. Therefore, any CA will tell you if there is no official documentation, then it will be taxed as income from other sources, and you have to pay tax as per slab. And as some people have asked me, what about a switch from Tier 2 to Tier 1? Nobody knows what is the rule. The PFRDA does not know enough to talk about the taxation. They are not the tax authority. They cannot tell you what is the tax rule. Nobody knows. And also, I keep telling people, nobody listens to me. Stop thinking about NPS unless you have a mandatory investment, or your employer is offering to contribute to it. If your employer is putting the pension contribution, their contribution into NPS, then they will also get tax benefits. You will also get tax benefit. That's completely tax deductible. For all practical purposes, for most people, how much ever they put, it will be tax deductible. Of course, there is a limit, but more practically, it has got no ceiling like the 1.5 lakh for Section 80C. Then NPS Tier 1 makes sense. Only when you have tier 1, you have to think about tier 2. For all other people, don't think about NPS at all. The reason I've been saying this for a long time is they have a stupid liquidity rule. They say 80% will be locked away if you retire, if you exit the scheme before 60. In the corporate world, working up to 60 is just not going to happen. Even today, it's not happening. Also, NPS is not portable freely. That is, one employer may contribute, but your next employer may not contribute. In that sense, it's not portable. The features are not portable. So you will have to be you will have to worry about liquidity. And every time I talk about liquidity, people will say, "Oh, retirement plan means there should be lock-in. Then only people will have discipline and so on." The point is, if you don't have money at the time of your need, and there are 100 things that can happen to you bad before your retirement, there's no point, right? There's no point in investing something when you cannot pull out the amount that you want. And liquidity and emergency requirements can never be understood until bad things happen to us. But anyway, so you have to ignore such wonderful comments about the lock-in of NPS. The only reason people invest in NPS is that extra 50,000 benefit. The government knows how stupid people are. Give them tax benefits, then they will rush to put money in any scheme, and that's the only reason they introduced the extra tax benefit, because they wanted traction in the NPS.